Hello fellow hunter. Tigrex Gunlance is one of the most eye-catching wide gunlances in Monster Hunter Rise. It features the second biggest raw of all gunlances, only behind Diablos in natural white sharpness, unlike Diablos. To offset, it has a negative affinity of -15%. And a very weird and unexplained ramp-up skill, Brutal Strike. This one rampage skill disables any possibility of doing an objective comparison better this and all others without knowing the effect. I was fearing the worst case of having to do the research myself, but I have found multiple independent sources listing the effect as having an activation rate of 25%. So, I will roll with it. Doing some poking around against the mechanodon head, you can see that when the power is activated, your damage increases by roughly 50%, things that also coincide with the different sources. Now, to apply the typical damage tables, I need to simplify this to a single average negative critical value. This is something simple to calculate the lazy way. Since it works with a 25% chance, it means that for every 4 critical hits, 3 will have a 0.75 multiplier, 45 damage, and 1 will have a 1.5 multiplier, 90 damage. 0.75 times 3 plus 1.5 divided for 5 gives us an ugly 0.9375 critical multiplier. Almost cancels the negative criticals, but we aren't done yet. With a 15% chance we have that for 100 attacks 15 have an average multiplier of 0.9375. This gives us a total damage multiplier of 0.99. So, Brutal Strike effect is not but cancelling the negative affinity. In first place, let's compare with Affinity Boost 2 that gives us 6% affinity and brings its affinity value of -9%. This means 9 attacks out of 100 will have a 0.75 modifier and 91 and 1 modifier. 9 times 0.75 plus 91 divided by 100 gives us a 0.9775 damage multiplier. This is little more than a 1% damage difference, being truly meaningless, but the winner is Brutal Strike. This is all out of the box. Let's get into the second question. What can we use to buff each one? With Brutal Strike you cannot use critical skills that are right now the very best ones to use, because the combo of Weakness Exploit 3 and Kaiser Helm with critical I3 plus critical boost 1. The 3 best skills we can use Tigrex with Brutal Strike are Mind's Eye, Offensive Guard and Attack Boost. The trouble of Mind's Eye here is that Tigrex is a level 4 shell, and with these kind of hit zones you are better off using a wide 5 gunlance with its higher fixed damage. Mind's Eye doesn't seem to work in 40% hit zones when you have blue or better sharpness, and this one has white. The only remaining options are Offensive Guard and Attack Boost. Without a godlike charm you can get Attack Boost 4 and Offensive Guard 3 with Baroth Helm, Fake Chest and Rathalos Arms. With an Attack Boost 3 charm you can get Attack 7, so is plausible. Now, let me calculate the effective raw of this. 230 base raw. 260 raw when buffed with booster, mega demon drugs, charms, etc. 270 raw with attack boost 7. The result is 270 multiplied by 0.99, 1.32, 1.1, 1.15 and finally 0.24, poke movement, is 107 effective raw in a 100% hit zone. But when Offensive Guard is not active, the damage falls to 93. The opposite set with same count of skill points would be Weakness Exploit 3, Critical I4 and Critical Boost 3. This gives us a 1.4 critical multiplier with a 61% chance. The calculation will be 260 multiplied by 1.32, 1.24 and once again 0.24 equals 102, a tiny bit worse. Quite the close results. They are equivalent, but one requires hitting 45 plus hit zones and the other having Offensive Guard active in a 45% hit zone. Next, as a final comparison, let's see how they fare against Almudron Gunlance. Almudron has 200 raw buffed and blue sharpness. Using the critical build we'll end with 200 multiplied by 1.20, 1.28 and 0.24 gives us 73 average damage. This is ignoring the water damage. At a 45% hit zone this will be 46 versus 32, is a 14 points difference with Almudron. The shell difference between level 4 and 5 is around 8 points. Tigrex wins here. At 0% water hit zones. At 10% hit zones, The 46 water of Almudron will do 5 extra damage and tie with 1 point of difference. At 60% hit zone, the difference is 61 versus 44. A 17 points difference in Almudron needs a hit zone of 15% water to tie, doing 2 less points. The point is that Tigrex always wins in hit zones of 45% or more if the monster has some resistance to water, then is the usual case. And as the final point, when comparing with Diablos, they are very close. Diablos needs 1 point in handicraft to have a pixel of blue, while the affinity difference gets compensated with 1 crit eye, or you can ignore it using the brutal strike version. Blue is a 14% damage difference and you should use it with Diablos. In the end, Tigrex is better by a small difference. And the final conclusion is that Tigrex Gunlance is a very serious competitor for the title of Best Wide Gunlance and works fine with critical builds and crit-less ones. Tomorrow I will keep comparing wide gunlances. This has been an interesting analysis. Do you agree? See you in the hunt.